Thank you so much, Mr. Shelton. Well, you guys have some pretty cool teachers and admins here. I've had so much help from Mr. Shelton, and then Mrs. Dolan. Do you guys know Mrs. Dolan? And then Mrs. Schneider. She might be a little more with the seniors, is that right? But you know Mrs. Schneider? Yeah. So they've been super helpful in making sure that this goes really smoothly for you, and then we have some things for you at the end that we hope you'll take away. And I wanted to thank Mr. Shelton, Mrs. Schneider, and Mrs. Dolan for helping with that. And I got to talk to your seniors yesterday, so I'm very impressed with with all of you as students. So you guys have a lot to live up to match up to those seniors. But I think you guys are up for it, right? Cutting in a little bit, but it's all right. So yeah, you guys have prom coming up. Is it this weekend already? Yeah. My goodness, who's going? Raise your hand if you're going to prom. Everybody's going? Good. And yesterday the seniors identified their royalty. Do juniors have royalty too? Don't do that till next year? All right. Where's your prom at?
I don't know.
The football field. So it's here at your school. That's awesome. Oh, at Mile High. All right. So you guys got some buses taking you down there? Yeah? Okay. So my name is Tammy DePalma, and I'm hoping I can relate to you guys a little bit. I know I'm not quite your age, but I have kids, so I think I might know a little bit of what it's like to be in high school. I can remember some things from them as well.
For welcoming, we have Shania. Yeah. For knowledgeable, we have Raul, Barraza. And for school spirited, we have Cole Glassman. Congratulations, these are winners. Prizes will be delivered during your time.
Okay, so today we're talking about that can't happen to me. Because I know that there's a mindset that, bad things can happen, but they're not going to happen to me. And I think that can be a really healthy mindset. And so my goal here is to give you some tools to make sure that some really bad things that could possibly happen to you won't happen to you. So let's arm you guys with some tools for that. So what brought me here today? So this is my husband, Gino. And when he was not much older than you guys, just out of high school and a couple years after high school, he wanted to be a police officer. So he got a job at the Golden Police Department. And very early in his career, we had a family friend who also lived in Golden, and their son went to Golden High School. He went away to the mountains and lived in the mountains for a little bit, came home for a weekend, and was hanging out with some of his friends. Got in a car, hanging out, partying, doing what they do. They get in a car, they drive up Lookout Mountain, they go around a curve, totally skip the curve, go over the edge, and crash. The driver survived. My friend's son was ejected from the vehicle, and he died. So Gino was just a new police officer, and this really hit him hard. He was part of the team that got to go to the house to notify the family that they had lost their son. And then the mom, her name's Virginia, she ended up asking Gino, would you go around with me to high schools around Colorado and tour the crash car that Kyle died in? Because she wanted to make an impact on people like you and do what I'm doing today. So I'm living in her legacy in a way. So Virginia would get up in front of audiences like you and speak from her heart. And then they would go out maybe in the square out there and they would tour the crash car. So it would be, the truck would be driving it and they would look, this is not the crash car, but it's a different one. But they would drive up the crash car and the kids could look into the car and they could see the blood on the roof of the car. They could see teeth marks on the dashboard. They could look at all of this, and brave Virginia was willing to do this for you guys, people like you. So where am I? Where's the crash car? Well, I'm not quite as brave as Virginia, but I'm here today anyway. So now Gino became a school resource officer and made this kind of a mission of his life. And that was way before we had kids, but now we have our own kids. And I feel the messages rolling off of my lips. And sometimes I know I'm getting eye rolls from my kids. And what are some of the things that your parents say all the time? Like when you leave the house, what do they say to you? Drive safely. What else? Don't drive drunk, absolutely. Make wise choices, what else am I hearing? The chance is low but never zero. Ooh, I've not heard that one, I like that. So yeah, I hear these all rolling off my lips all the time. Next slide. And yeah, I can see my kids, they roll their eyes and like blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to stand here and like point my finger and tell you guys anything, but I do need to tell you why I'm here today. So this is how you can relate to me, is I have a son who's your age. His name's Dominic, and I think if you look at Dominic, you might find a couple of things that remind you of you, or one of your friends, or one of your boyfriends. How many of you guys are what, 16 years old? 16, 17? How many of you just have your first job? You guys working? What? So Dominic just got his first job, he's working at Wendy's. And I guess there's a 4 for 4 menu. Have you guys done the 4 for 4 menu at Wendy's? Yeah, because when people come, he will always say, people come through the drive-thru and they say 4 for 4, and he goes, okay, 4 for 4 for sure. He's a gamer. He loves Fortnite, Call of Duty, all of the things. And like, if he was hanging out with you, if you're playing against him, like, he survived COVID by playing video games, which I bet a couple of you did too. If you were hanging out with him, playing against him, he would school you, and then you guys would laugh about it because he's just this joker. If he's riding around in the back seat of your car, he would be the best GJ who's ever been in your car. So yeah, Dominic's a kid like you, right? Next slide. Just a goofy, joking kid. Pretty goofy. Guys, any of you like, abusing your friends? Any class clowns in here? No? Dominic also had a serious side. He's pretty good at soccer. He's a pretty good athlete, a competitor in every sense of the word. So if you were going up against him, he would truck you. He, in fact, earned the name of Diesel, was one of his nicknames, as well as Dominator. And it didn't matter if it was soccer or basketball or pickleball or grass volleyball. If he wanted to win, he was going to do anything he could to win. So I just wanted you to know a little bit about Dominic, because can you see a little bit of you in Dominic, or a little bit of Dominic in you? Because Dominic's why I'm here today. Because on July 28th, 2022, 20 months ago, Dominic was 17 years old, walked out of our house, said, I love you, Mom. And I said, make wise choices. He's like, I will, Mom. I know, I will.
The Broomfield High School student who died last week in a car crash was identified today. The Broomfield High School student who died last week in a car crash was identified today. The Boulder County Coroner's Office identified him, 17-year-old Michael DePalma, who went by Dominic. The crash happened last Thursday on Highway 287. 5 teens were in the car when it crashed with a semi. All 5 were taken to the hospital, where DePalma later died. His family posted an obituary today. They say Dominic was a passionate soccer player, and he and his mom had an unbreakable bond. They described him as a loyal friend and an exceptional older brother. His family has set up the Dominic DePalma Memorial Soccer Scholarship in his honor. The scholarship will provide access to soccer for other young adults who are just as passionate about the sport as he was.
That's Dominic. He's my son. His dad's a cop, a school resource officer. He did DARE programming and talked to thousands of students about making wise choices. He heard all of the words roll off our lips over and over and over again. Make wise choices. Who are you going out with tonight? What are you going to do? Know your friends. He left our house at 6 o'clock that night. Texted me and said, I'm at a friend's house, I'll let you know what we're doing next. Dominic's 4 best friends were out of town for various reasons. So he's like, I'm not sure who I'm gonna meet up with, but I'll let you know. So he texted and told me who he was with, and he was going to meet up with some more friends and figure out what they're gonna do. He got in a car at 7:09 with an acquaintance who wasn't even one of his close friends. That car traveled for 4 minutes. The driver had been drinking and doing drugs all day. My son didn't know that because he didn't run into him until 6 p.m. He ran a red light and it was hit by a semi. The car spun around. When it came to a rest, the driver was able to sit up and go, "Holy crap, what just happened?" The passenger looked at him and said, "Oh my gosh, we just got in an accident." They looked in the back seat to see their 3 mangled, bloodied friends struggling for life. 2 of the kids in the back, one was airlifted to a hospital, the other one was taken to a hospital. One had 1% chance of living. Both of them have lifelong physical injuries as well as horrendous images of what happened that day. Memories that will haunt them forever. They get to live. They get to have the memories. I will never see Dominic graduate. He didn't go to senior prom. I won't get to see what a great big brother he would be, how he would turn into an adult, where he was going to go to college, what he was going to do with his life. That's stolen from me. And Dominic's light is stolen from this whole world. Dominic would never again pull away from our driveway and say, "I love you, Mom." That's why I'm here today. Dominic's about your age when he died. He was right before senior year, so just a few months older than you. Every time he left our house, he said, "I love you, Mom. I'll be careful, I've got this." We believed him. He believed him. And just like you want to believe, statistics don't lie. And I know it's hard to hear your parents and their blah, blah, blah and saying it over and over again, but the statistics don't lie. Every 79 seconds, someone is killed in a drunk driving crash. And we're 10 o'clock in the morning, and one thing I used to believe, a myth that I used to believe, is that all of this happens late at night, but you know what? I have 3 friends whose sons were killed between like 1 and 4 in the afternoon. Dominic was killed at 7:13 p.m. So we put so much emphasis on getting home safely, but you need to remember to get everywhere safely. 7:13 was light out. The sun was in the sky. I wasn't even checking Life 360 yet. Why would I be? These statistics are real. And this is the leading cause of death for you, for teenagers. And if a crash happens every 39 minutes, someone has likely died in the time we're here. So, DUIs, what are all the consequences of DUIs? Obviously, we know that you can be killed in a car accident. What else can happen? What else are the consequences of DUIs? License suspension, jail, yes. DUI. I want to talk about DUI a little bit. First of all, DUI, that's probably the biggest thing that you guys can truly comprehend happening. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to get pulled over on the side of the road. Somebody's going to drive by and put it up on Snapchat, and then all of your friends are going to know. You're going to have to go to school Monday morning. You're going to have to go to a facility overnight and sober out. Your parents are going to have to come pick you up, and you're going to see the look of disappointment in their eyes, the look of fear, and the look of just complete anger. You're going to have to go home that night with them, and they're going to be seething mad that this happened. You're going to have to go to school Monday morning and face all of your friends who are like, look what happened to you. Those are pretty bad consequences, right? Well, one thing I hear a lot, not only in kids, but in adults as well, is I'm okay to drive. I'm okay to drive. I've only had a few. I'm okay to drive. One thing I did not even know until a year ago was for your age, the legal limit is much lower than for adults. So while you can see an adult have a drink, or maybe 2, especially if their body weight is a lot more than yours, it's black and white for you. If you have 1 drink, the legal limit to get a DUI is 0.02%. That's one drink. So if you have one drink, you're not okay to drive. You can be that person on Monday morning who everybody is laughing at. And you can be the person who killed your friend. And you can be the one who dies. It's black and white. You have one drink, you don't drive. If you are with somebody who has had something in their hand, you don't get in a car with them. So DUI is something you can comprehend. And I even remember being your age and thinking, okay, if you drink and drive, my vision was like you could hit a tree or maybe a lady with a stroller, but you wouldn't know them, right? You could hurt somebody you know, one of your friends sitting next to you, and then that would live with you for the rest of your life. So a DUI, you guys, a couple of you have jobs. If you're working, say, $15 an hour, $17 an hour, do you know the average cost of a DUI is $13,500? Do you know how many hours you have to work to pay $13,500? 938 hours. Do you guys want to go to work for nothing? So the financial part of DUI is pretty awful as well, that you can hurt somebody, you can kill somebody, you can kill one of your friends. So I want you to see this guy up here. I'm ready for the video.
DUI suspect that was involved in an accident that could result in fatality.
Jeffrey, come on, you put the questions.
Hey, Jeffrey. Hey. Hey.
What?
Try to relax yourself.
There is no relax. I killed somebody, dude. Oh no, kill me now, man. God, kill me now, dude.
Let me give you some a place where you can just be by yourself.
God, no, please, God. God, no, please.
Come on. Go ahead and walk.
I can't walk. I just killed somebody, man. God, kill me now. Oh my God, please, God, please. Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh no. No, kill me, God, now. Take my life, please. No.
Get the chair out and you're gonna walk in.
Oh my God, no.
I just wanted to DUIs.
This is DUI. He gets to live. But he has to live like this. The driver of my son's car, he killed his friend. He became an outcast with all of his friends. He had to leave the area just so that he could go to school and not be faced with reminders of every day of what he did. I have empathy for him because he will be tortured for life. There is no happy face of DUI. So I want to give you guys some tools so that this doesn't happen to you, because that's awful. First of all, who are your friends? Look around you. If your friends are doing dumb or dangerous things, I know it's funny, and I know it can be amusing, and it can even be exciting to be around daring people. You have a choice whether you participate or not. So if your friends are doing things that are going to get them or you in trouble, walk away from them. And you don't have to make a big announcement and say, this is bad behavior. I'm not going to partake in this. I'm going to tell the teachers or the cops. Just walk away. Protect yourself. Go home. There's a big saying that nothing good happens after midnight. And maybe when you're your age, we can say 1 a.m. or something. There's a reason your parents have curfews for you, and a reason they want you home at a reasonable time after prom ends or after a game ends. Because there becomes a point where nothing good happens. And it might be fun and amusing and funny, and you might have stories to tell on Monday morning if you survive to Monday morning. So just go home. There will be fun next weekend and the weekend after that. Just go home. Another tool, ditch your car. If you are in a situation where you cannot get home safely, leave your car. And I know one of the scariest things is, I'm gonna leave my car in this parking lot. My parents are gonna be mad. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my car tomorrow morning. I'm gonna tell them why my car is here. I'm gonna leave it here anyway, and it might get towed, and what am I gonna do? I promise you, these are better problems to have than having your parents come visit you in the hospital or pick you up from detox. And your parents might get mad, they might yell, they might scream, you might get grounded. But tell them, Dom's mom said to call you. Dom's mom said to ditch my car. It's a better consequence than this. So call your parents, ask for a ride. They would rather come pick you up at 2 o'clock in the morning than go to the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning. Call a Lyft or call an Uber. Lyft, you guys aren't allowed to take a Lyft legally until the age of 18. Sometimes they don't check, but what I would encourage all of you to go home and ask your parents, especially because you've got prom, say, hey mom, would you, with Uber, you can get a teen account. So at the age of 13, your parents can put you on their Uber account. And so if you are out somewhere and they're background checked, and you can, if you have your parents put you on their family account, you can get an Uber ride. And all you have to do is hit that button and you will be picked up. And now I want to tell you some lies. I want you guys to lie. Think of 5 lies right now that you can tell. If you get in a situation that you feel is dangerous, I see it with my friends all of the time. I see it with adults where you're like, that person probably shouldn't be driving, but I don't have the guts to say anything to anybody. Why is it my point? I would like to, but I don't. That's a hard thing to do. So instead of being the person who's like, you shouldn't be doing this, think of some lies. Hey, dude, I have a stomachache. I don't know what's going on. I might even throw up in your car. I gotta get home and walk away. Oh, my mom just texted me. She's right across the street. I'm gonna go right home with her. Think of some lies to tell to get out of these situations. My coach just texted, we have practice early in the morning. I gotta bolt. So think of some lies and take the promise. You guys are going to prom. Take these promises. Honor Dominic. Don't let his death go in vain. Honor Dominic by remembering it can happen to you. Never drive after drinking. Oh, I needed that still. Just take these promises. Don't do anything stupid. Don't drink. Don't drive after drinking. Don't get in a car with anyone who is. Remember that you are valuable and your parents need you. Get home every night. Take these promises before you go to prom. And you will be receiving in your classes after here, we have bracelets that have Dominic's website on there. Wear those as a reminder. Every time you feel this bracelet, think about that and go, I'm not gonna get in that situation. I'm not gonna get that in that car. Make these reminders of smart behaviors. You will also have stickers if you would like to have stickers. Put them on your car. Put them on your water bottles. And when you see them, oh, I don't have the right water bottle. When you see them, remember, I won't let that happen to me. Have fun at prom, have an amazing time, and get home safely. Thank you.